Good evening and welcome to the final edition of Alps Global News for Monday, April 7th. I'm Lindsay, and here are the top stories we're following tonight. In Malaysia, foreign investors pull over $31 billion from Asian markets, with South Korea and India hit hardest amid political and trade turmoil. Internationally, President Trump says he's open to talks as global markets slide further under pressure from his aggressive new tariffs. And in Asia, Japan releases rice from its national reserves to stabilize prices of its most essential staple. Brian has the full report. Over to you.
Thanks, Lindsay. We begin with Malaysia, where foreign funds exited 8 key Asian markets last week, reversing a brief return to buying. According to MEDF Amana Investment Bank, the total net outflow was a $7.12 billion, or $31.68 billion, with South Korea and India bearing the brunt of the sell-off. South Korea alone recorded a $4 Poland's $44 billion outflow, following the impeachment of President Yoon Suk-yeol and the impact of new U.S. tariffs of up to 26%. India followed with $121 billion in outflows, linked to a new 27% U.S. tariff taking effect this week. Taiwan, Vietnam, and Thailand also saw heavy withdrawals, driven by rising tariff fears. Malaysia's Bursa also recorded its 24th consecutive week of net foreign selling, with 426.6 million ringgit exiting the market. Still, local institutions stepped in once again as net buyers, while retail investors returned after a week of selling. Lower trading volumes were noted due to the Hari Raya holidays. Over to the international scene, President Donald Trump said Sunday he's open to talking with global leaders about new trade deals. His comments came after a weekend of golfing and amid plummeting global stock markets. Major U.S. indices saw over 5% losses last week, and early indicators point to further declines. The administration's message remains unclear, with conflicting signals about whether the tariffs are leverage for deals or part of a long-term reshaping of the global economy. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick declared the tariffs are here to stay, while Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins hinted they might be a negotiation tactic. Lawmakers from both parties are raising concerns. Several Republican senators have joined a bipartisan push to require congressional approval for future tariffs. Meanwhile, Americans are growing anxious over rising prices, falling 401ks, and recession risks. Finally, in Asia, Japan is battling a rice crisis. The government has begun releasing 210,000 tons from its national rice reserves to combat skyrocketing prices, which have surged 55% over 2 years. The first auction batches have hit supermarket shelves, though some shoppers remain skeptical about the grain's quality. Agriculture Minister Taku Ito says there's enough rice in the system, but bottlenecks in the supply chain have kept it from reaching consumers. Rice is central to Japan's diet and culture, making its stability a top priority. Similar reserve strategies are in place in other rice-dependent nations like Vietnam, India, and China. Back to you, Lindsay.
Thank you, Brian. To recap, foreign investors exit Asian markets in droves, President Trump softens his tone as markets falter, and Japan intervenes to manage a rice supply crunch. That's it for tonight's edition of Alps Global News. We'll be back tomorrow with the latest updates from around the world. Until then, stay informed and stay safe. Good night.